Welcome to the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investing Show, where I interview the nation's top real estate entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and other amazing entrepreneurs to help educate and inspire you to take your business and your life to the next level. My goal is to add tremendous value to you during every single episode of this show. If you get value, I'd love it if you subscribe on your favorite podcast player, subscribe on YouTube, and my very favorite, please share this with your community so we can impact even more entrepreneurs. Let's start today's show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today I'm here with my good friend Julius Mendoza from Kiavi, largest lender in America for real estate investors. We're going to be talking all about hard money today. So, Julius, welcome to the show.
Hey Mike, thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah,
it's funny because whenever I have people on the show, sometimes we've been talking for like an hour.
I know.
Man, we should have just recorded the past hour. Like, well, here we are.
I thought we already started.
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Well, we would have a bunch of blooper reels from the last one. So.
There you go. Yeah. We can play that at the end.
So I'm excited to talk about, you guys have been partners of Investor Fuel for a long time,
Absolutely.
Sponsors of the group, and we have a great relationship together. And,
Yeah.
you know, I know we're going to talk a lot about hard money today and
Yeah.
about Kiavi a little bit too, and about you. But before we jump in, tell us about you. Tell us a little about you and about Kiavi.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Mike. So I proudly hail from San Francisco, California, from the Mission District. Basically, from there, went to college, got a background in international business and econ at St. Mary's College of California. I initially started my corporate career, whatever you want to call it, in Forex. So I was like a currency trading sales broker. So I spent like 5 years in that industry. And then when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do from there, it really enticed me, like the idea of lending home. Like in San Francisco back then, there was like a lot of tech companies, which was really exciting for me. So the idea of a marriage of tech and real estate together was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what I was getting into. Like I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know what LTV was even.
Right.
So it was an interesting journey from the start. But what really attracted me was the people there, the concept of making an arduous mortgage process simpler through tech. So good people, good technology, and then well-funded, well-capitalized. So that was the whole like spirit of lending home when it first started.
Yeah.
Like how do you create systems and processes with technology that'll make it easier and not hard to get money for your investment properties?
Yeah. I had forgotten about the name change, which
Yeah.
is exactly what you guys want.
Yeah.
If you forgot about that, it used to be called Lending Home and then changed the name to Kiavi. Because everyone when you said Kiavi, like, what does that even mean? And you're like, well, you're trying to explain the origin of it, which who knows, but it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it was interesting because it was like not an acquisition or merger. It was just a true name change.
yeah.
So it went from Lending Home to Kiavi. The skin went from like yellow and gray to green. And then just so you know, Kiavi is a play on words in Italian. It's Chiave. So like a big part of our mission is to help investors unlock the value in distressed or aging homes. So Chiave, we're the key to help you unlock the value in aging distressed homes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Say so. So, and you were there early on, right? I mean, you guys are the largest lender for real estate investors now, but
yeah.
you were there. I mean, you were employee number what? Do you know that?
Around 40 or so.
Okay.
So I've been there for 10 years and 4 months or so.
Yeah.
And when we first started, I mean, it was probably like 40 of us, maybe doing about 25 million a month on a good month. The broker and direct channel were actually like competing with each other at the time. And there was a lot of growth. It felt like I was on a rocket ship often.
Yeah.
We outgrew our space 3 times. We went from an office on 201 Post, little scrappy office, to a nice rotunda office on 1 California. And then we had 4 floors at one point as we were growing. And then COVID hit. And then we all went virtual. And then at that point, you know, we're kind of wondering, like, are we going to be able to operate at the same clip going virtually? And we actually were able to operate at a higher clip. So it kind of worked out with us. And then we'd have to pay this big lease on a building.
Yeah.
So now everything's virtual. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I was in the broker channel for a while, like the wholesale channel, before a couple years later going into the direct side. And then I was fortunate enough to be in a client-facing role, which is how I got introduced to Fuel and, you know, and build these great relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the early days, 25 million a month, and you guys are.
Oh, now we're like doing like 700 million a month.
Yeah.
500 on headcount.
Yeah. That's
Last
crazy.
year we did 6.7 billion. And this year we hope to get to 8.
Yeah.
8 billion.
So a little bit of growth there.
Yeah.
And I think it's all because of you, right? You're the main.
No, I can't say that. I got to say it's great teams and great systems and empowerment.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely put in my work and make impacts on the company, but it's all great. Great team, great systems.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So talk about the importance of relationship building. I mean, obviously you don't grow a company that size, or you don't stay at a company for 10 years if you're not focused on building a lot of relationships.
Absolutely.
Talk about the importance of building relationships and maybe some things that you do to build those relationships.
Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting because, I was in an inside, I don't know if you want to call it inside sales or inside like role where everything's phone calls, emails, so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But Lending Home Kiavi, we quickly realized that this is a relationship-based business, so we have to act like that. It can't be all inside. So the role as a director actually stemmed from the idea of we need to get belly to belly with folks, get to know them, build a relationship so that we can earn trust and create a mutually beneficial relationships that'll last for months and years to come.
Right.
So the spirit of my role is to get out as much as I can. So this week, I'm on we call it a power trip, where we go meet investors in person, deep dive into their business, learn more about them, and see what we can solve for to help them grow. And then also with mastermind groups, like we want to be in the rooms with the investors to see what's going on, and again, how do we solve for it through lending or other avenues.
Yeah.
So just getting in front of people, getting to know people. Everyone talks about ABC. I don't believe it's like always be closing. It's always be curious. Like genuinely want to get to know people, learn what makes them tick, what motivates them, and how you can, like you always talk about this, like how we can add value, not just to their business, but to their lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I mean, you're, to be frank, you're in kind of a commoditized space, right?
Yeah.
And so the relationships are super important, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, so that's one way you differentiate yourself, is you actually care about people. You want to learn about them, build relationships, because they could go other places, right?
Sure. I mean, they could, but I mean, a couple of things that really differentiate Kiavi from other folks is just high level, like speed. We tend to be faster, high leverage with fuel. We offer 100% financing depending on the investor and if they're part of a mastermind. And we have great people that care about the customer, closing on time, the things that are important to the customer. So I think those are like big things that really differentiate us in the space, not just like the sheer volume of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are some things you do to build? You work with, you're working with hundreds or thousands of clients. I mean, you personally, not your whole company.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what are some tools and tricks that you use? Not tricks in a bad way, but just like techniques, right? Right. I mean, you have to be like intentional about building relationships. Like it's one thing to just be a good guy.
Yeah, sure.
But it's not, but it's hard. You can't scale that. And so for anybody that's listening, whether they're a real estate investor or have some sort of product and service, like how do you build relationships at scale and be intentional about it?
Yeah. I think just again being curious, but knowing how to ask like open-ended questions that are relevant to like their life, their business, and finding common ground. I think when you find common ground with somebody, it could be as simple as, both being Giants fans or wrestling fans or music fans, whatever it is. Once you find that common ground, just digging deeper and learning more about that person. And eventually, when you do that, that person's going to want to learn about you too. So they start asking you questions too.
Right.
And then pinpoint certain things that like maybe struggles for them or challenges, which are not always negative. Like when you can identify challenges, then you can find solves for the needs and so forth. And then once you actually like establish the relationship, finding ways, because it's really hard to keep up with. I mean, you have 80,000 investors plus in your network. So I admire you for keeping in touch with everybody so well. But once you get to that level, like how do you keep in touch? Like what next steps are you setting to keep the relationship going?
Yeah.
Whether it's like meeting for lunch or setting up a phone call, really paying attention to the people that you've grown over the years. So I think that when it comes to relationship building, it's really all about just keeping track of everything, genuinely caring, and finding that common ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some of it is, this sounds a little contrived, but to do it at scale, you have to use systems.
Sure.
CRMs,
absolutely.
contact
CRMs, yep.
Right. And it's not so much like, and I'm saying, obviously people know CRMs is like a way to send out tens of thousands of emails. It's like we send a lot of emails, there's no doubt. But the truth is like for the people that are in my mastermind, I don't send out messages. I don't generally send stuff in mass unless it's some sort of notification.
Yeah.
But like sometimes people will be like, is this you, Mike, or is this like a VA or a system? I was like, no, it's me,
Yeah.
And I send more personal emails than people think. But it's important I think it's, back to the CRM. It's one way to send out a lot of messages, but
definitely,
like I put a lot of notes in there. Like,
yeah.
We want to know the history.
Yep.
Like we want to know, what is our history with that person, or what's the name of their spouse? If in some instances I just know that, but
yeah,
we try to just track all those things, and because you can't remember it all.
Right.
And I do want to build relationships with a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I struggle with that a little bit too, like the automation piece.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you could do email blasts and so forth, but I've always been a fan of writing a tailored email based on what I know about the person.
Yeah.
It is time consuming, especially to scale. Like it's harder to scale. But I think those go a longer way than automation. Sometimes people can tell if it's canned, and then some people like send me a smiley face or something because they know, but they know that I'm still like, my intent is to like try to keep up with everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the key is when you try to pass it off as being personalized and it's not, sniff that out.
Sure. Yeah. All about being authentic, genuine. Otherwise people read right through it. Yeah.
That's why I use a lot of videos, like you probably see.
Yeah. Yeah.
BombBomb. I use BombBomb as a tool. There's a lot of tools out there. I mean, you just use your phone now, but people even comment to me, like when I say their name in it, they know, oh, I thought this was like for everybody. It's like, as soon as I heard my name, I knew you were just talking to me.
Oh, nice.
But they're very personal.
Yeah.
And
cool.
The tech is easier to use than ever. So
absolutely.
Plus I'm never short on words. So it's always easy for me to just talk into a video versus write it where I want every word to be perfect. Or whatever,
you're natural. No, I think that's, I think when you do like I need to do more of that because like when you send those videos to like personally to people, I think it like catches them off guard in a good way. Like they're not expecting it as much.
So you said something a minute ago about when we talked about like building relationships and asking people for the challenges. It's because some of it is you want to be able to be a problem solver for them, right? Like if you know what somebody's challenges are, we do the same thing. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't want to just tell me what's not working right now so that I can bag on you for it, right? It's like, what's not working and maybe I can help you.
Right, exactly.
So talk about the importance of being not just, you have a product, I have a product, we have products, right? And of course we want to sell more of our products, but unless you can start to have a conversation with somebody to learn what their challenges are, what they're facing, because sometimes it's like, well, they like need lending. I'm like, well, I don't do that, but I know Julius, right? And so if you tell me what's going on or what you need the most help with right now, then I'm a natural connector, and I know you are too. So just talk about the importance of listening to people, understanding their challenges so that you can serve them at a higher level.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that when you really connect with somebody and they trust you, then they're going to start opening up more, and then not opening up just about the challenges, but maybe some things they really like and how can you enhance those things that they really like. But when it comes to like challenges, I mean, obviously I work for Kiavi, right? Lender. So like if they're having challenges with speed or leverage or pricing, process, maybe lack of a feel like they're a customer because they want that relationship. Like those are all things that you can easily solve for. Or if you just want to be a friend, I could be a friend, right?
Yeah.
But to your point, being a good connector, like if someone's trying to get more deals or someone's trying to solve for some insurance problems, I mean, being well connected with people like yourself or Fuel and all the vendors that I met, I mean, that's huge to be able to introduce people to other people that you've trusted and earned their trust over the years.
Right.
So I think it's super important, always thinking outside the box, not just being like laser focused on lending, but hearing people out on everything.
Yeah.
So you can connect them with the right people, because everyone's Dale Carnegie, everyone's an expert at something. So you want to point them in the right direction for the person that's the expert, if it's not you.
Yeah. and there's reciprocity, like that comes back around,
Exactly.
I've said this because I used to flip a lot of houses in Dallas, and I used to say, like, I can't like my general contractor, like I didn't really want to tell anybody, my main guy. It's like your best when you have kids, you don't want to tell anybody your best babysitter. You're like, well, what if they're not available when I need them?
Right.
But if it was like an HVAC person or the glass guy to replace some windows, like I'm just a very small part of their business. And so what I found is, especially for, this would be probably good advice for smaller investors, is like, find ways to refer your contractors, the smaller ones, to other people, because then miraculously they're more readily available when you need them.
Yeah, right.
Because you've helped them in other ways. Like if you're not that important to them, one way you can become more important is to help them grow their business.
Yeah.
And so I'll just give you an example of a guy that I used to use for replacing glass, like windows. We weren't replacing the whole window. We're just replacing the glass, fogged glass and fogged windows and stuff like that. And this guy would normally say, hey, I'm like 2 weeks out. Like I can't get to the shop for 2 weeks, but for you, I'm going tomorrow.
Nice.
And he did that because I referred him a lot of other business.
There you go.
And he appreciated that. And that's one way that we can, I understood his challenge, which he wants more business. And my challenge is I want speed. And in exchange for that, I'm going to try to help you solve your problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it wasn't contrived, but the more you can connect people with the things they need, the more opportunity, miraculously falls in your lap.
Right. And I think you're hitting on a wonderful note about reciprocity, because even if it doesn't help you directly right now, I truly believe that everything you put out in the universe comes back to you.
Yeah.
So you just do right by people and it will come back to you.
Karma's alive and well, right?
Karma exists. It's real.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, I'll say like in the early years when I started investing, I often thought of a lender as like a necessary evil, or like we got to like arm wrestle over rates or things like that. And it just took time for me to realize that, hey, my lenders are my partners. Like they want to keep me safe. We want the same thing. They want repeat business, so they're going to do the right thing when it comes down to it and things like that. So just talk about like that idea of a lender as just like somebody that I don't want to pay, but I have to use them, a necessary evil, if you will.
Yeah.
So like, no, this is actually your partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that you're saying that, because we do have a partnership mentality. We want to help folks grow and scale their business just like we're growing and scaling ours. So in order to do that, we have to put together credit policies that we don't want them to be too stringent where it feels like a pain in the butt, but also we want them to be highly likely to perform. Mm-hmm. So kind of like balancing that.
Yeah.
But I think like, when I work, some people will use like private money. Obviously that money can be finite, and that's where institutional money comes in. Or some people are cash buyers if they don't want to use lenders. If their cash is tied up or they want to grow their business, then the necessary evil of the lender comes in to help them leverage their money.
Yeah.
But when we look at the deals, I mean, as far as a partner goes, like we want folks to succeed. We have an extremely high percentage of folks that are doing either successful flips or burrs, higher than the industry average. So like when we're doing these deals, we try to get first the valuation quickly, like as quick as possible. And we're like a second set of eyes. Like the investor will comp the property.
You're going to try to keep them safe.
Exactly. With the valuation.
Because they're using your money. Like what,
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. So like, if we're off, now there's something to look at, as opposed to think like, oh, these guys are against me. No, we're actually with you. We're just trying to help you see this with a different lens.
Yeah.
So, on the valuation piece, it's huge. And then the rehab budget, our feasibility team takes a quick look to make sure like, hey, maybe you don't have enough here. Maybe you should put a little more, or maybe this is way more than you think, maybe a little less, just to make sure your budget's really dialed in.
Right. And
then people can connect with their contractors to make sure that they can perform on that and it doesn't go over, often when rehabs go over. And then once the deal is like funded, we have an account manager that'll check in to make sure the project's going well and what other projects can we also help with like scaling. And then on the servicing side, we always try to be cognizant of situations and try to see what we can do to help the situation, because we're obviously not in the business of taking houses back. We want to make sure that we can get people out of situations when they happen so that we can continue to do deals in the future.
Yeah.
And,
which is what you really want, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like you guys compete pretty hard on rates, right? I mean, you're definitely not, I mean, you are one of the lower rate lenders in the market, right? And so like you're not getting rich from one loan. You're trying to build a relationship that will stand the test of time, and you can do dozens of deals a year with people, right?
Exactly. Like we're not in the business of doing like one and done.
Right.
Like we want to create relationships that, like I said, will work for months and years to come.
Right.
And then we're always like thinking about how to open up the box or create features that can help depending on where the market's at. Because like right now with like a shifting buyer's market, we have longer terms, like up to 2-year terms.
Right.
We actually had a rate reduction despite, like you said, like good rates in bridge because longer carries, we want to try to help alleviate that. So we're always thinking about ways to how to help people so they can keep doing business, regardless of what's going on in the market or regardless of like, if they're getting up maturity, like what can we do to get them out of the situation, do more deals?
Right.
Yeah.
What else is from an innovation standpoint? I guess like new products, because I remember just a couple of years ago, like the DSCR stuff, the rent loans that people would get for rentals, was very distinct from the short term fix and flip money. And then you're like, hey, then bridge lines came in where like we'll fund it with hard money and then we'll make it easier for you to refinance. I mean, that sounds crazy that didn't exist a few years ago.
I know.
But I mean, what are some other things that I guess this market is driving? You said longer terms, but anything else that this market has created some innovation on your side?
Yeah, absolutely. So, going back to the valuation piece, like right now it's a manual process on the pro program, the line, like the 3 to 8 million line.
Okay.
We get it in a day or two, but on our website now we can do automatic ARB analysis. So you can get that back quickly. And then, currently in today's world, with the bridge loan first, and then you refi into DSCR debt, that's like it's a 2-step process, 2 closes. But I'm really hoping that we can put something together where it's like a fixed to rent or build to rent product, where it's just like one closing, and then it transitions after a certain amount of time, whether it's 6 months, 8 months. So hopefully that'll come up in the near future. And then
build to rent, where you would transition the loan from the investor to the long-term hold.
I'm hoping.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of build to rent activity going. I mean, that's one of the bigger things over the past few years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for institutional folks, but even some of the guys that are in Investor Fuel that run turnkey models, they're starting to do more building to rent type
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah. The DSCR business for us has actually started to pick up more, and it's some people are still thinking about creating wealth with cash flowing rentals, but also pivoting to plan B because of where the market's at and playing the long ball. But when it comes to innovation, I mean, our tech, our portal has been at the forefront for us. Like it allows people to underwrite the deals up front, like for bridge and also rental. Like you could plug it in and get a quote right away to see what it looks like on the back end. So that's really helpful for people. Like, what does it look like up front? Not just up front, but like if it were to be a rental, what would it look like with today's rates?
Right.
And we're in a good place right now because rates are the lowest they've been all year. Like earlier this year in Jan, we were at like 7 1/8 for conventional. Right now at about 6 1/2. So I'm hoping that's a trend, to be able to do more rentals.
Yeah.
But you could see what it's like with today's rates.
Yeah, that's great. So what are some other things you guys do to compete on? Obviously, service is big for you. You guys are pretty competitive on rates. How do you stand out? We talked about it. Really, lending being on some level a commodity.
Yeah.
So you have to differentiate yourself. What are some other things that you guys do?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, whenever people ask like, what makes Kiavi different other than, we're the largest in the space, we do more deals than anybody else.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, humbly we'll say like we're kind of a big deal. But I mean, I really think it starts with great people. We hire really well. Someone told me once that like to preserve the culture of like a company or a church or whatever kind of like congregation, right? To preserve the culture, it gets really difficult once you get to like 180 plus or so. And we're at like 500. And I feel like from a hiring standpoint, which is a challenge for a lot of business folks and investors, like good hiring, right? I think we've gotten really good at that. And everyone's really aligned on like the core values and the mission. They really want to just work together to get the deal done. Like that's what we want to do. So I think that alignment and company culture is really strong. You talk about systems, like we have the best tech in the space and systems to just make things more streamlined for investors. So I think that's like number 2. Number 3, we're well capitalized. So we're always raising money for securitization since we implemented that program in 2019. So like we don't wait until the securitization money expires or runs out before we start looking for more. Like we're always looking for more capital, so we're well capitalized, so the well won't run dry. So that way, like with the securitizations, they have a time expiration. So regardless of what's happening in the market, like the money will be there for us to be able to fund the deals.
Yeah, that's great.
So from a reliability standpoint, if something were to happen, like, unexpected, like remember we saw COVID or I don't know, anything, war or something, that will make people want to pull out, we'll actually still be in the race because of those securitizations with the time commitment. Regardless of what happens in the market, we'll be able to fund them.
That's great.
So I think those are some big, differentiations. Not a lot of lenders are doing 100%. Like we trust investor fuel members that are pro approved with 100 amongst some other masterminds, but we don't. Not a lot of lenders do that, like 0 down.
Yeah. Unless
you get creative.
Some say they do it, but when you start talking to them, it's like, well, miraculously, this one doesn't fit for that.
Miraculously somehow. But those are some of the biggest things I would say that come like top of mind.
Yeah. So we appreciate the relationship with Investor Fuel. Maybe talk about what that's looked like for you. You guys have been a part of the group for, I think, 5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe coming up on 6 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Talk about that relationship.
Absolutely.
We value it. What do you
too.
think? Yeah.
Yeah. So very fortunate to be a part of Kiavi and Investor Fuel. I remember when I got the phone call from Stinson just saying like, hey, someone is out of the race.
You guys were on the wait list.
Yeah, right. We were. And you're like, do you guys want to come on board? We got that approved quickly. And I just remember what it felt like to be a part of a mastermind for like the first time, like being in the rooms with folks, learning about what's going on in their business through the hot seats, like super enlightening, roundtable discussions to keep a pulse on everything that's going on. And the biggest thing is like, for me, like being able to help people in business and also create lifelong friendships. Like you always say like, hey, let's do life together. I love that. I mean, it's huge. It's like super fulfilling, super like, it's just great. So, being a part of the group for 5 years, we had a celebratory hot spotlight. We talk about how we were with the group for 5 years, and we asked folks to share about their experiences with Kiavi. And it's a two-way street, and it's super fulfilling and rewarding. And, I'd recommend it to anybody, obviously, like I always do on the phone. But it's just a very unique relationship that I'm very grateful for. And it's just dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we were thinking about changing the name to Dope Fuel. Just thought
fuel your life with
there's
Dope Fuel.
there are other masterminds out there. We don't have to talk about them or talk bad about them, but how would you, in your experience, so you've as a service provider, you've been a part of some other groups before, like,
of course,
how would you say Investor Fuel is different?
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like I have nothing but great things to say about all the mastermind groups, like structure wise, as far as like doing hot seat presentations, the people in the room. I think leadership is a big difference, just the style, everyone's style is different. And it creates like a tribe. Every group attracts a certain like avatar of folks. And I feel like in Investor Fuel, everyone really wants to pour into each other. Like everyone's really willing to give. It's not like holding secret sauce back or anything. And I think the more you give, the more everyone gets out of it, and everyone gets that at Investor Fuel. Other masterminds too, of course, but the vibe is very unique. I really love that. And everyone in Investor Fuel is focused on, like, for the most part, it's real estate investing. So like-minded people in the room. Other masterminds might have like different verticals or different industries they're doing, but this one's pretty focused on, like, let's say things that we do, like fix and flip, burring. People are really into like figuring out ways. You said it yourself, like you're a marketing guy, marketing and then different vendors. But I really love that you talk about like keeping the pipeline filled, like top of funnel. We always talk about that at Kiavi too. Like always keep the top of funnel filled so that you always have business to win and earn. So those things really resonate with me.
Yeah. I guess basically you're saying Investor Fuel is the best.
I
know you're trying to be Switzerland here.
Hey, Investor Fuel has my heart.
Yeah.
Investor Fuel has my heart. I always tell you that.
So you work with a lot of investors, and the past couple of years have been a trying time for some. Some people are crushing it.
Yeah.
Some people have struggled. Like, what do you see across the board of like what's working well now for investors?
Well, as they say, you make all your money on the buy, right? So investors that are buying deeper may not get as many units but they're definitely putting themselves in a better position to either withstand mistakes or shifts in the market and so forth. So people that can buy well and are patient, like no deal is better than a bad deal, let's say, those folks are doing pretty good. People that project manage really well, because if you go over your rehab, obviously that eats into your profits.
Yeah.
So people that are able to keep that rehab tight, and people that have construction crews or GCs that will like perform on timelines and that budget tend to do really well too. And people that are like that choose which market they want to go to just based off of like market stability or how many people are moving into that area or job growth, like people that are paying attention to that for like flips and rentals tend to do pretty well too. And people that are in and out quickly, whether they're fixing and flipping or buying and renting. And a lot of that has to do with like the rehab piece.
Yeah.
As far as like getting more deals and sourcing, I mean, direct to seller marketing, like that's where you're going to get the deepest deals, obviously.
Sure.
Some people tend to leverage wholesalers, agent relationships, like getting in touch with the Goldilocks zone agent, I call it. Like you don't want to call the agent that's like too green that won't bring you good deals, but also not the agents that are just absolutely crushing it. They don't have time for you. Like agents that work with investors that are in this Goldilocks zone to like build a relationship with you,
I like that.
Get more deals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, obviously there's free ways to do it, like social media, TV. I mean, I hear a lot of good things about TV.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in our group doing TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's on the acquisition side, but I think like full cycle, like systems. Have a good system for your acquisition. Make sure you're buying right and not just to get into a deal. Make sure you project manage right so that your rehab is tight and you're performing on timelines and the actual budget. And then having a good dispo system, whether it's an agent or if you know how to do it yourself.
Right.
Price it right so you're not like up here and then you got to start price reducing and then people want to negotiate even further down with you because they think something's wrong or whatever. So those are a few things that come to mind.
Yeah, you got to be in and out faster.
Yep.
You got to be more decisive.
Yeah.
And you got to probably try to not set new comps. Like I'm going to try to set some new high.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It's not the market for that.
Yeah. And always have a plan B. So like if it doesn't sell, like what's your plan B?
Can you rent it?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. So where do you think rates are going? Like what do you see happening? And nobody knows for sure. I think we all know rates are going to go down at least by next May when Powell's out, if he's not out sooner than that. I mean, the writing's on the wall. Rates are going down.
Yep.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that rates for lenders will go down. I mean, it's just some of it's baked in. But where do you see things going, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I have a few thoughts on it. Like no crystal ball. Like, I'm not,
nobody has a crystal ball.
Yeah, right. A good friend of mine, his name's Charles Goodwin. He works with me.
Oh, you're going to say Donald Trump. Okay, good.
No, I want to be friends with Donald Trump.
He could tell you a little bit more about where things are going.
Yeah, exactly. But he told me once that his father said the only constant in life is change, right? Yeah. So with rates, I have a feeling, I'm hoping that we're going to start seeing a downtrend. Like I was telling you earlier, rates were at a high at 7 1/8 conventional in Jan, and now we're at the lowest of the year at 6.5. Recent job reports were pretty low, especially the corrections of job reports. And you always look for these things that will create downward pressure on rates. And I think some of it's there in the form of like a correction in the market, not like a crash or anything.
Sure, yeah.
There isn't like enough like data saying that like people are getting into huge distress with like foreclosures or whatnot to like try to say that like it's a crash coming,
Right.
So I think we're kind of like, and then, with increasing inventory and that could put downward pressure on prices. But I feel like it's like a correction, before the upside. Like Kiavi, overall, we're bullish on the market.
Yeah.
Like we want to keep go mentality and keep funding deals, good deals, obviously. Like if you're in a market where prices are coming down, definitely bake that into your ARV
Mm-hmm.
when you make your buy. Be more conservative, like approach with caution. But as far as rates, like, I mean, people are predicting like a 1/4 point reduction later on this year with the Fed. But as we know, the Fed like controls mostly like short-term rates more than like mortgage rates. So I think like
Right.
following the bond market,
Some of that might be baked in already.
right?
Yeah.
Especially before the announcement even comes out.
Right.
So like I think following, we follow the 10-year Treasury to try to get an idea. It's like a proxy for mortgage rates because, in a risk-off environment when folks are like trying to put their money in more like safe things like bonds, like buying the bonds puts downward pressure on the yields, which can cause rates to go down. And if you look at the 10-year Treasury, it's funny. I talked to someone about this the other day. He was like, what's a sideways tunnel? I said it was like a sideways tunnel. It's been kind of sideways since like April of this year, like kind of sideways. But if it breaks down through support, like I would like to think that rates will come down. So just keeping a close eye on that and listening for things that could create downward pressure.
I guess we'll
have a
find
good
out.
feeling. Yeah, we'll find out. If we can get down to like, because we follow John Burns a lot, research.
Yeah.
If we can get down to like, some say sub 6, but like 5.5 handle, I think it'll really kick things off for DSCR, affordability, everything in real estate.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, time's going to tell. We're going to see.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
an interesting time, right? Like,
yeah,
there's so many people that don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like there's good news on the horizon. for sure.
absolutely. Yeah. And we're optimistic. I'm an optimist.
You have
So,
to be.
Yeah.
You have to be, yeah. So if folks want to learn more about how to work with you, work with Kiavi, if you're working with Kiavi, I highly recommend you work with Julius here, by the way. Good guy. So where can they go?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the spirit of like partnership and collaboration, if you want to sign up for your Kiavi account and it goes directly to me so that I can get in touch with you, learn about your business, either myself or someone on my team will take care of you. You can go to www.investorfuel.com/Kiavi, and then you enter your info, and then it comes to me, and then we connect, and then
The magic happens.
We make some magic happen. Nothing but upside. Onwards and upwards we go.
Yeah. Fantastic. So investorfuel.com/Kiavi. We'll add a link down below in the show notes too. So
that's great. Let's do it.
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming in from San Francisco. We're going to dinner together tonight.
Yeah.
Looking forward to having a good time tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. It's an honor to be here, Mike.
Yeah, appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah.
So everybody, at the end of the day, like lenders, we can't really do what we do without lenders and good relationships. And so Kiavi is become the largest lender in the country. Definitely you should be working with if you need lending for your deals. I highly recommend you work with Julius. We've been friends now and partners for like 5 or 6 years. And so just a great guy, positive guy. Definitely recommend you check him out. So appreciate you a bunch. We'll see you on the next show.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.